was Scotland's national poet, our marker from 2016 to 2021. And frankly, I doubt there will ever be anyone as good. Her books are all superb. And if you haven't read her memoir, Red Dust Road, then you really mustn't go home without a copy. If we're lucky, and perchance she has a few drams later, we might even hear a wee bit more of the hilarity surrounding Mo Broon's menopause, etc. I have been a huge fan of Ross Ainslie for a long time. He's been described as ridiculously talented, simply outstanding, and he's won dozens of awards. He's not only one of Scotland's finest traditional musicians, a skilled performer and composer, but is also in numerous bands and plays with the finest in the business. And now to Tim Edey, multi-instrumentalist and composer, who is frequently described as a genius. And everyone says he's a thoroughly good guy, and actually I would totally second that. I don't think it gets much better than that. He's always in high demand to play with numerous other world-class musicians and bands, and has also won many awards for his outstanding contributions. He frequently plays with Ross, creating a sound that is pure wizardry. When Tim starts to play, every thought stops instantly, and you become intoxicated and mesmerized by the brilliance, and of course, that amazing smile. This is the first time the three have collaborated, and we're so lucky to have them with us tonight. Thank you all for coming, and thank you so much for coming. Strap yourselves in, hold on tight, and revel in the extraordinary talents. No pressure, Jackie. Over to you.
Well, no pressure, Polly. Thank you for that lovely introduction, Polly. Really, really great, and it was very moving to hear you read that poem. It's fantastic to be back in Malig. Yay! In Malig, not Malig. Some people get themselves in a real twist about it, don't they? But anyway, yes, they do, and it must be annoying. Just like it's annoying for the people of Mulgai. Is that you way over to Mullingaby? Mulgai! So I find place names fascinating. It's sad to think that the boats weren't working tonight, so the people are missing from Egg. Oh, some people are from Egg are here. Oh, good. Hello, Egg. Hello. But that means that you were meant to be going home. You're here by accident. No. Oh my God. It's okay. I'm glad you're here anyway. Boats, eh? Anyway, it's just such a pleasure to be on with these guys, and we're going to have such fun. We've rehearsed. We've spent hours and hours in each other's company, and we're just we can't wait, can we? So this is the first poem that I'm going to read. This is a Lang Promise, and I'm going to read this for my partner Denise, who's here, and everybody can turn around and say, "Where is she?" There! But anyway, there's lots of old Scots words in this poem that I imagine most of you will understand. Some people might not, but that's life. A Lang Promise. Whether the weather be dreich or fair, my love, if good times greet us, or we hae to face the worst, a hint and a fore what will happen to us, blind in the present, eyes open to the furore, unkempt or per jink, suddenly poor or poorly, peely-wally or in fine fettle, belled or frosty, come as a ghoul or in a fiery farry, in dark December, in springy spring weather, down by the barrows on the Champs-Élysées, at midnight, first licht, whether the moon be round or crescent, and ye be of sound mind or absent, I'll tak your trusty hand and lead you over the haw hame, my darling. I'll carry my lantern and door defend you agin ony foe. And whilst there's breath in me, I'll blow it into ye. For ye are my true love, the bonny face I see, Nichts I fall into slumber, it's ye swimming up in all your goodness and blitheness, your passion. You'll be mine now until the end of time, my bonny lassie. I'll tak the full good of you and gie it back to you. A first kiss, a lang promise, time's golden ring. Thank you. And another one in Scots to keep us going. This one's called Fear, from the old Scots word for friend that we sing in Auld Lang Syne. So here's a one, my trusty Fear, and gives a hand in line. We'll take a night, good Willie Wolf. Anyway, but in this poem, I pronounce it Feary, because it gave me more rhymes. The first time I ever read this poem, before it was in the book, it was just a wee piece of paper, fluttering nervously for its first outing. And its first outing was at a burn supper that I'd been invited to in Sri Lanka, of all places. Yes, the haggis were flowing in. I watched them land on the runway. The haggis have arrived. Spontaneously addressed themselves, burst open. Anyway, and there was these wee two women at this burn supper in Sri Lanka, sat about where you are, and they'd been friends their whole lives from when they were 3 to when they were 88. And that was really what the poem's about, celebrating friendship over a lifetime. If you went to the Tapmose Hill, Feary, where we used to clam as girls, you'd see the snow of the day, Feary, settling in the hills. You'd mind another day, maybe, when we ran down the hill in the snow, sliding and singing our way to the fit, lassies laughing together, how braw, the years slipping awa, out in the weather. And now we're suddenly old, Feary. Our friendship's ne'er been weary. We've aye seen the world differently. Where would have been without my Jo, my Feary, my Fiercie, my dearie-o? Our hair, it might be silver now, our walk a wee bit doddery. But we've had a whirl and a blast, girl, through the cold blast winter, through spring, summer. O'er a lifetime, my Feary, my bonny lassie, I'd defend you, me, blithe and blatter. Here we gang down the hill, nae matter, past the bracken, bonny braes, barley, out by the roaring sea, still having a blether. We who love sincerely, we who love sae fiercely, the snow ne'er looks sae barry, nor the winter trees sae pretty. Come on, my dearie, tak my hand, my Feary. And this one's called Around Table. It's a new poem. So it's in the position that I was talking about that other poem. First little outing, see it? Yeah. Fluttering nervously away. Calm down, wee poem. It's the kind of thing, if my son was in the audience, he'd go, Mum, why'd you do that kind of thing? He'd be really impatient with me. And I'd do it even more, just to wind him up. Anyway, this poem's got a true incident in it where Peggy Seeger, the great folk singer Peggy Seeger, came to my parents' house to tea and sat singing them peace songs. They had tea and scones and peace songs. So that was a true thing that happened in this poem. And the diabetic nurse who was there that day, she made the tea and the scones. She gave my mum an insulin. And she was a huge Peggy Seeger fan, so she was completely made up because a working day didn't get much better than that. Around the round table. You are no longer at your round table, looking out at your weeping willow, but come with me now, wherever I go. It was at this table, not so long ago, when Peggy Seeger came to tea, and you sat singing peace songs, eating scones and jam, your lives played back to you through song, all that belief we shall overcome. And it was here, I remember, I first heard Ali sing Diamonds and Rust by Joan Baez, about her affair with Dylan. And that line, Sean, even way back then. And if you're offering me diamonds and rust, I've already paid. Though none of us knew what it meant, we sensed a heartache coming down the line like a train heading for the Midwest, and the rest, and the rest. And it was here we had our last round of toast before climbing the 13 stairs to bed. And Mum sang, "Good night, Irene. Good night, Irene. I'll see you in my dreams." And Dad sang, "Coorie Doon, Coorie Doon." And your beds are now empty, but your house is full of song. Not so long ago, Dad sang to Adjua in his fake American accent, "I was born in old Wyoming." And Adjua threw back her head and laughed when he got to the line, "Laugh and laugh, laugh and laugh." And it was around this table, and something about a better half, and it was around this table you read the papers and shook your head at the news and said, "What a world. What a world." So now I turn to tell you things that have happened, what's going on, as Marvin would have put it, or start singing suddenly, "Love really hurts without you," as Billy Ocean would have it, wanting it back when the house was full and the table legs shook with songs. When the moon rises over Brackenbray, I sit at the empty table, looking out into the night, and hear Dad singing Ella, "Say it's only a paper moon," and sat here at the table, your empty places fill and fill, even as tears spill. And I know the difference between make-believe and real, for you'll always join a round of song round your round table.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having us. And this is a different gig for us, I'll tell you. And we're up for the challenge, though. We're just going to kick off with some reels for you. The last one is a tune by Donald Shaw, who some of you might know from the band Capercaillie. And we saw Donald's sister earlier on. She might be down for a tune later, so you have to stick about in the pub for Ainslie to come down. But we'll try these in G.
We're well prepared, Ross, for this. We have really good soup, lovely soup at this hotel. There's some beautiful food here, my God. Other hotels are available, but this was a great one. I'm always thinking of my stomach.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Get into both sides of the piece. Both sides of the piece.
Oh, yes.
Straight from Elsie Ingalls, more or less, onto a demo. 5 months. Och, get out the holy loch. Fancy putting submarines on the holy loch. The holy loch. For we didn't want Polaris. My brand new mum carrying wee me. My brother in a pram, pushed by Hugh McDermott, blackberry on, bead eyes, lined face, but greet, and in your tears you'll drown the Hale Clan Jamfery. 1974, when Madame Ainslie comes to Glasgow after Pinochet's coup and Ainsie's murder, we learn venceremos, raise our fists, venceremos, venceremos. Mila denda sabrá que romper. Hasn't Madame Ainslie got beautiful hair? My mum says. Isn't Madame Ainslie inty, teeny? At 17, you learned the truth and took to the streets, umpteenth time, back to the night, candlelit processions, because the night belongs to women. Blazing, banging, saucepans, tins. Why should we stay in? Make men stay in. Why should the Yorkshire Ripper rule our lives? Fear in the night air. The moon cleaved by a butcher's knife. The stars jagged in the sky's dark bed. 1984. Marching with pride through London. Lesbians and gay men dressed to the nines. Me with my double-headed axe, yes. My denim dungarees, bless. My pink triangle badge, my red kickers, don't mess with me. Sing if you're glad to be gay. Sing if you're happy that way. Watching people, watching us, out in the streets, staring, shouting, peering into the depths of us, as if we were barely human, strange new creatures, many-feathered, flamboyant. What do I remember, Ingrid? I remember staying with Shaila Shah in South London. I remember coming down from Glasgow and everything being different. I remember the first OWAD, like a first kiss, and the first BLG, the euphoria, faces I'd been missing my whole life. Olivette, Mo, George, Carmen, Gloria, Gail, Liliane, Hansa, Adjua, Femi, Bernie, Claudette, Vadney, Grace. Change your life meetings at a woman's place. Or singing and dancing in that house in Brixton. Police and Thieves, Junior Marvin, Shaka Khan's I'm Every Woman, grinding and whacking, heads thrown back. We are family, we are family. I got all my sisters with me, tossing the dreads, smiling, locked smiles on our black and brown faces. I remember wearing an afro like Angela Davis, or joining the women at Greenham Common, peering into their made-up lives and woolly jumpers and tents, camp cookers and tin mugs of tea, their sparky, fence-cutting defiance. and campfire peace songs. Woman tiger, woman love, help to save the world we love. Velvet fist and iron glove, bring the message home. And the summer before last, nearly 60, I joined the protest, masked, in my local park, and we took the knee next to the beach and the ash for a full 9 minutes for George Floyd and the rest. And we were silent, just the breath of the trees, in and out and in, on our bended knees. I remember my mother, my father, marching to free Nelson Mandela, and Matthew too, in his pushchair, raising his tiny fist, and everyone singing the specials, free Nelson Mandela, I'm begging you, the black and white anti-apartheid banners, which some pronounced apartheid and others pronounced apartheid. And much later, in the lived life, my mother, my father, back at George Square, under the Green Party banner, my dad with his silver infirmary-issued stick, my mum with her William Morris groovy one, singing Give Peace a Chance at 78 and 73 in 2003. Not in my name banners, stop the war in Iraq. I'll not stop till I drop, my mother used to say, singing Paul Robeson's Joe Hill, or suddenly, randomly, on a clear May day, there is a balm in Gilead to make the wounded whole. There is a balm in Gilead to heal the sin-sick soul. Later still, housebound with Suzanne at her side, my mum relaxed in her lift your feet up turquoise armchair, a revolutionary in red dressing gown, her I may be old but I voted Remain badge on. A gift from Frankie, her wide width red slippers on. Let me go away from the Mississippi, Suzanne roars. Mum joins in. Sure thing, she says. Sure thing. A call and response, sister. You tell it, sister. As next door's high fence blows down in the winds, as city seagulls swoop for stale scones, as winter rains flood the back garden, as the weeping willow weeps along, your willow, oh willow, when the sun goes down across a lifetime. Body all aching, sure thing. I'm tired of living, but scared of dying. 'Cause old man River, he just keeps rolling, keeps rolling. He just keeps rolling, keeps rolling. He just keeps rolling along. Sure thing, sure thing, sure thing.
was almost like we planned it. That was pretty bang on. Little bird.
Okay.
We couldn't have done that better if we'd rehearsed it. It was bang.
Are we going to do a tune, Russ? I think we're going to play a tune of mine. Has anyone here been to Dingle in Ireland? Yeah. Did you meet Funky the Dolphin? You did? Were you ever there, Jackie?
Dingle?
Yeah.
Not yet, no.
Oh, you have to go. You guys must go. It's very similar to Malig in a funny way, but it's a little bit even wester. But I lived well a little bit. Oh, it is wet. It is. Oh yeah. But I lived there for about 6 years, and then 1 year back in about 2005, I was driving up to Galway for a birthday party, and it had been a really kind of wet winter, and I was living in this caravan on a farm, which was, it sounds, it sounds, but it was great. I had an incredible supply of strawberry Jaffa cakes. You can't buy them anymore. Like, you know the ones, they're amazing.
Yeah.
And I had there was so I was, my diet, I'm still paying for it, but anyway, I was broke because of this Jaffa cake addiction, and so I had to write a tune. And this is the tune, and it's a tune called Little Bird, and it was written for a great friend of mine who you have to guess who she is. She's quite a good accordion player. She's from a place called Corofin in County Clare, and she's kind of what we'd say pint-sized for us. She's a force of nature, but I shall tell you who she is later in the bar. But her first name is Sharon. She's played in Malig before. But this is it, Ross. Little Bird. Should we try it for you?
So try it.
Like
We normally do this tune on its own, but
yes.
seeing that we're here, and I don't know if you've noticed there's some work being done in the hotel, and that's been done by a man called Toby Robinson, and through a lot.
That's a round of applause.
Oh, aye. Always. And so Toby, through lockdown, obviously with the music, there wasn't any gigs happening, so I got in touch with Toby, and I ended up working in Barrisdale with Toby for 4 months labouring. And now, going with, when I left school, I started playing music, so I don't know anything about labouring, or I didn't know the difference between a spade and a shovel, you know. And I'd get stuff like they'd be shouting over, "Going, can you grab the rip snorter for me?" And I was like, it's a bit early for cocaine, boys. So I got to know all these things, you know, and. But there was a few boys there, and it was really, because it was lockdown, it was kind of normal because there was 8 of us and we were all in this kind of confined wee space, and it was a beautiful place. I don't know if you've ever been there to Barrisdale, but it's some place. It's just over in Neudart, at the back of Neudart, and so there's a few of the boys here. I know Toby's here tonight and Drew's here, and so there might be some more, but we'll play it for them. It's called the Barrisdale Boys. I wrote it up there when I was working, so we'll play that for them.
Are you ready?
Go for it.
Okay. Well, this first, remember, is very romantic. So just keep calm. It's romantic.
This is Little Bird.
This is Little Bird. Some people say it's romantic, so I always say just look
Touch
ahead.
somebody's knee.
Yeah, Jackie, exactly. But you must ask the person next to you. There's a man did that in Scunthorpe at a gig I did, and there was a lady. Oh my God, it got really violent. Like, oh my God. He only tapped. I think he only tapped her. Yes. No, we won't.
Okay.
Jeez, we won't. Jackie,
Okay then, I'll take that back. Don't touch anybody's knee.
No.
Turn around to the person next to you and snog their face off. No.
Jesus, do people do that as well? Oh, Jesus. I must come. Sorry, Jackie. Oh, my God. Okay, Ross. Oh, jeez. It's like, oh, my God. Okay. Okay, here we go. Keep going. Keep going.
Oh, it's in here.
Oh, yeah. Oh, shit. Oh, hey, mate.
Thank you.
Yay. Well, that was for the boys here that taught Ross the name of strange instruments. And this is a poem I thought what would go nicely with that piece. You can see how carefully we've planned all this. And this poem's called A Banquet for the Boys. And I wrote this for my son when he was involved in a Black Lives Matter protest a couple of years ago. It was that poem that I read to you before, that long poem, which was actually, it was called A Life in Protest. But yes, I wrote this for him after he got injured by the police on a Black Lives Matter protest quite badly, and he couldn't walk. So I sent him a kind of lavish takeaway on the night when he was supposed to be cooking for his flatmates. And so this poem's about that kind of, and it's called A Banquet for the Boys, for MK, Andy, Faisy, B-Man, and Bailout. And they were all more impressed that I knew their nicknames than they were with this sonnet. It's life. When your foot was stood on and you couldn't stand and you couldn't cook for Faisy or B-Man, I ordered you a feast to lend a helping hand. For your benevolence, some baba ganoush, and for your fidelity, your empathy, fatouche. For your brotherly ways, some mukhadara, set albeit. For Black Lives Matter, some Barnea Belset. Tabbouleh, since you're all trans-affirming bros. Halloumi, to hail the halo round your afro. Zucchini, since you're so queer-affirming. Macdus, mutabal, for loving diversity. And the mandem, restorative justice in a vegan lover's platter. For love, for the love of protest, pickles, bread, for keeping your head, boys, for knowing what matters. This is Caravan that they're playing at the moment. And this is another kind of caravan. And being in Malik reminds me of all the holidays that I had, you know, as a kid. So this comes from a holiday around about 11 I was. Caravan, Abby Lochan. I remember the first holiday that I've got a clear memory of was actually going to Mull, aged 4. And my brother and I, my brother's the same colour as me, and we arrived off the boat. And I was 4 and he was 6, and the local people all gathered around us, and they said to my mum, "Do they have the English?" And my mum went, "Oh, aye, they have the English all right." And I just went, "Bloody cheek, most of them don't have the English." But yeah, I can remember all these different holidays in different places, you know, and just how we firmly remember them, because kind of holidays are time somewhere different, attaches into our memory, doesn't it? Completely differently to other times. So yeah, so this is So this is Caravan Avilochen. The rain on the caravan roof, a skin drum, or birds dancing, and in the morning the hens come to the caravan steps, feathery feet on the hunt for bacon, maybe egg. Then guess what? Big surprise, the period arrives. I'm 11. You're 11, Clarinus says. Some don't get them till they're 14. Lucky you. Don't tell your brother. Brothers are no supposed to ken. And then to the chemist in Aviemore in the Morris Minor to get the towels Mum says are like nappies. I'm disappointed. They're nothing like nappies. I'm all emotional. You'll feel all emotional. It's natural. In the caravan, in the middle of the night, Claire turned to me, the wee curtains shut tight, the rain pitter-pattering the roof. Wheeshed, wheeshed. I went dead quiet. Not a word from me, not a word. You've a forest there, Claire said softly. She had no pubic hair. Then she pushed her tongue to the roof of my mouth, and we kissed. We kissed. We kissed. We really did. It's funny, thank you very much. It's funny, during lockdown, my brother was having a Zoom with a girlfriend, an old girlfriend of his in Australia, and he decided he'd just kind of read randomly one of my poems to her, so he opened that Caravan Avilochen.
Oh my God!
If you know my brother, you'd find this even funnier. But anyway, and he got to the end of it and went, "Oh, Christ!" Apologies, I had no idea any of that was going on. Yeah, so it was a bit of a surprise. I just thought Caravan Avilochen. It said Avilochen. We've been to Avilochen. Anyway, so it just shows you wee poems contain wee surprises, don't they? Yeah, I remember my brother, the same brother. You know, he doesn't see himself as being black. So I remember him saying to me when I was in my 20s, "Sister," that's how he talks to me. Always calls me sister. "Sister, you're making a complete arse of yourself, going round telling people you're black." And I said, "Well, you're making an arse of yourself, going round telling people you're white." And he went, "I'm not telling people I'm white." And I said, "Well, what colour would you say you are then?" And he paused for a minute and went, "Fawn." Yeah. Is it because I's fawn? I know. Anyway, it's been such a pleasure, hasn't it? We've had such fun.
Jackie.
We're going to do two more. Well, I'm going to do two more poems, and they're going to do two more things, aren't you?
One more.
One more thing. And I hope you kind of have enjoyed this integrated. Thank you. It's been great fun for me because the only time that a poet gets anything approaching a whoop from the audience is if they're on with the musicians. For some reason, we all feel fine to go, "Whoa, whoa," to the musicians. The poor wee poet gets, I mean, at best, semi-orgasmic noises. And at worst, just... Anyway, it's life, isn't it? You can't complain, especially not in Malik. You can't complain. I might read in the pub, as Polly referred to earlier, if I'm in the pub later tonight. Last time that I was here till bloody 5 in the morning. I paid for it for weeks on end. And in the middle of it all, they persuaded me to read one of my poems, Ma Brune's Vagina Monologues. It's X-rated. It went down very well. 3 o'clock in the morning with everybody falling about the place. But I'm not going to do anything like that. No. Well, not right now, anyway. You never know what I can be persuaded to do later on. Anyway, it's been really great fun to be here. And So I'm going to read you this. This poem's called Margaret's Moon, and I wrote this for my birth mother who died in 2016, the year that I became Macker. And in fact, in the last few years, all 4 of them have died. So that's been a very strange time. And my mum actually survived the last, and she said to me 10 days after my birth father had died from Nigeria, she said to me, "Jackie, I can't believe I'm the last one standing of your 4 parents." and then 10 days later, she was dead. So it's very strange, that concertina thing, and I'm sure people here have experienced that, when you have deaths close together. But one thing that really struck me about my mum was that she, her and my dad were together for 65 years, and they had a really, really close relationship, which if any of you have read Red Dust Road, hopefully that comes across. But one thing that really surprised me about her grief was that she didn't lose her sense of humour. And she said to me, "Jackie, did I get this right? Did you say your dad died the day after my 89th birthday?" And I said, "Yes, Mum, you got that right." And she said, "Well, he was always lousy at birthday presents."
Oh my God.
He surpassed himself this time. And I was just like, I wanted to bring my dad back to tell him that joke, because he would have really appreciated it. He would have gone, good Ellen, that's a good one." And then the other thing that she said, much to my surprise, because I put a Guardian in my dad's coffin, because he was obsessed with the Guardian newspaper, and in the end of his life, his whole day was kind of structured around the Guardian newspaper, with the quick crossword puzzle at the end of the day, and so on. And so I put a Guardian in and a thesaurus for him to still be doing the cheating at the crossword puzzle. And I told my mum I did this, and the next day she said to me, "Jackie, did you say you'd put the Guardian in your dad's coffin?" And I said, "Yes." And she said, "I hadn't read it yet." What? So she was, they were both kind of like really, really brilliant at the merry quip. And and kind of it fills my heart that even when we are hurting a lot, that we do, that our humour kind of defines us. It tells us a lot, really, about who we are. So this is Margaret's Moon, and the Glasgow School of Arts Choir are doing this next year in May in the Glasgow City Chamber. So there's going to be 300 people singing this, which kind of makes me feel pleased, because my birth mother had me in a mother and baby home in Edinburgh, and was forced to, polish floors and, do all that thing that they did to unmarried mothers. Back then in the 60s, it was a punishment, really, to be pregnant, down on your knees, polishing floors. So I think it would be nice for her to be honoured in this way and have 300 beautiful voices singing this. But now you've just got one not so beautiful voice reading it to you. You'll have to put up with that. I don't know what the tune is yet, but even if I did, I wouldn't sing it to you. Margaret's Moon. After she died, I swear the sky had the most beautiful of all sunsets, a blush of pink, then red, a glass of red, sudden dark, and a hammock moon. Then its faint silhouette, almost secret, life half written, half unsaid. I'd kissed your head in the strange room. Then later, I blew a kiss to the stars, to regret. Margaret, I imagined you lifting your head, your arms, loosening them, shedding skin and cell and bone, till you became all spirit, released into the cairns, the hills, the braes, the barley, the sea lochs, and the sea. And at last, at least it seemed to me, you were free. Thank you. This, we've had a really brilliant time, haven't we?
Thank you, Jackie.
We might.
We could do this all night, Jackie.
We could.
We could just stay here and do like the. I've loved it.
We could do a kind of a lockdown and let nobody get their dinner. Just bring in sleeping bags and feed them wee bits and pieces. Maybe the odd clam or oyster. No, we could. It's been great fun. Thank you, Polly, for putting us together. I'm just going to read this last little poem, really to wish the festival well, all right, Highland Hoolie well. I wrote this poem and it's in the bottle of a Rassie malt because I thought to myself that the Poet Laureate gets all these bottles of sherry, and what does the Macker get? Nothing. So I wrote to the Scots Malt Whisky Society, as you do, and asked the whisky companies to basically bid against each other till I found a proposal that met with my delight. And this was from Rassie Malt, not so very far from here. And so I wrote this poem, hand wrote it, and it went on the bottle, and it went on sale in 2021, last year, on International Women's Day at 10 o'clock in the morning, and by 11 o'clock in the morning, it all gone. And not only had it all gone, but people were then reselling it for like 750, 800 pounds. And then the police were involved. And then the website was closed down. It was a huge scandal. And if I'd been like Miss Marple or Miss Macker kind of doing an investigation, it would have been fun because it was like a whiskey drama. But anyway, this was just it. It was just a wee poem on the bottle. But it was just because a message in a bottle in the form of a poem was something that tickled their fancy. But you can't get it now, so I'm telling you about something that you can't actually get. So here it is. This is it, and it's a wee toast to the festival. Which if we all still have our glasses, we can raise them. Actually, we can get our glasses. Let's raise our glasses to our right Highland Hoolie. Here's to us. It's called I raise my glass, my dear, wherever you now are, north, south, east, or west, under the nearest or furthest star, Slangiva. There's love in this wee dram, in its purest form, to greet you, my fear, my Joe, Nippy, Edey, Warham, Slangiva.
Hey, Slangiva.
Thank you from Ross. Thank you from Ross. Ross Ainslie. Tim.